bring on our next guest here. This Bret Scholtes is his name, and I would imagine he's had a rather interesting 24 hours. He's the president and CEO of Guardion Health, ticker GHSI. Is that correct? You've had a rather interesting 24 hours.
It's been interesting. It's been great.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got your slides here. Let's bring them up on the screen. Tell us about the company, and then maybe we can talk about. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We don't have slides. I'm told you have to share your slides.
Oh.
1 second. Yep. You have to click, just share them on the bottom of the screen there. And yeah, GHSI has been a rather eventful mover in the past couple hours here. There we go, Bret. Okay. Just get it over to and go into presentation mode. Perfect. Just like that. Boom. Great. All right. I'm going to turn over the floor to you. Oh, well.
Okay, super. It's okay. There we go. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. I really want to thank the team from Benzinga, as well as everybody who has taken their time in their day to learn more about Guardion. For those of you who I have not met, my name is Bret Scholtes. I'm the CEO of Guardion. I've been the CEO since the first of this year. I've been in the nutrition industry for a number of years, spent the last 9 years as the CEO of another nutrition company named Omega Protein, which was publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange until we sold it to a private entity in a successful exit. Joined Guardion at the first this year, made a $500,000 personal investment on day one, and really excited about what we're building, and appreciate taking time to learn more about it yourself. The presentation I'm going through today, in addition to being available on the Benzinga platform, we also have it on our website as well. I'm going to skip over the forward-looking statement, but I'd encourage everybody to read that. This was a slide that was, when I originally prepared this presentation, our stock was trading at a lower price, which I'm sure is something we're going to talk about. But for those of you who are not familiar with the company, we're a clinical nutrition diagnostics company. We offer a portfolio of science-based, clinically supported nutritional supplements, medical foods, diagnostic products that support healthcare professionals, their patients, and consumers. And that science-based, clinically supported nutritional side is absolutely what we're about, and what I'm talking about, what we're building. It's all going to be based on that. As a company, changed in a big way this summer when we acquired the Viactiv line of supplement chews. This did a number of things, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But it's an important turning point for the company, and important in terms of filling in the gaps of what we need to be successful longer term. The market capitalization on the page shows $25 million based on a $1 stock price. Over the last 2 days, we have had a move in the stock, which is nice to see. We've been spending a lot of time on the road talking to investors, doing exactly what we're doing today with as many people who will listen, and nice to see the stock moving the way it is, the volume that we're seeing in the stock, which has been nice. We'll talk a little bit more about the balance sheet as we go forward, but we ended the second quarter with $12.5 million of cash on the balance sheet, no debt. We are consuming more cash than we're bringing in. The Viactiv product line does generate cash, but with the corporate costs, we are still at a position that consuming probably in the neighborhood of a little less than $2 million a quarter is what it seems like right now, but we'll start to see how that changes as we go forward. I talked about Viactiv, and I think it's important to talk about what the company looked like pre-Viactiv, what Viactiv added to the company, and where we sit today. And hopefully you'll understand why I'm as excited about the future as I am. The company has been a company very focused on the clinical side of the nutrition industry. Scientific formulations, clinical work on finished goods, scientific advisors that help guide the company, educating healthcare professionals on what we're doing. But when we were able to acquire Viactiv, we were able to complement that side of what we had, that foundation, with a strong brand, a combination of efficacy of the products as well as good tasting products, additional marketing experience, and established distribution channels. So now we look at what the company is for the rest of this year, as well as going forward. Combining those two gives us much more of what we need to build this clinical nutrition company. And there are 8 highlights I want to run through to help describe in a little bit more detail why I am optimistic about what we're building. First off is just the global nutrition market overall. And if you're not familiar with this is a $150 billion market dominated by a lot of large, well-known companies, and the tailwinds that are driving healthcare in general and the nutrition side of that have everybody expecting, or not everybody, but at least a lot of the industry folks who follow it expecting that this is an industry that will grow high single digits over the next number of years. We're excited about that. We're going to participate near term in the bone, the ocular side, and immune health. That's where we're focused today. And we think that a company that is small and nimble like ourselves can absolutely compete in a very successful way in such a large industry. But that's going to require that we are focused on the value creation process and where can we create competitive advantages and where is that going to be more challenging. And so where you can expect us to spend the vast majority of shareholders' resources are going to be focused on the clinical evidence side of our business, the product development, and then the targeted marketing. From a science perspective, I talked about the fact that what we want to do is definitely going to be based on scientific formulations and clinical evidence. We think that that's a differentiating factor that will allow us to be successful long term. The history of the company has been on the ocular side, really been able to do some interesting things with our formulations in terms of creating more science-based formulations and using clinical evidence to show how they're different than others in the market. And as we're starting to expand beyond ocular, bringing that science-based mindset will allow us to further differentiate our products. The next 2 bullet points talk about what we were able to do as a result of the Viactiv acquisition. 20-plus-year-old brand that has strong consumer awareness and acceptance, strong heritage, originally part of the Johnson & Johnson family, as well as established distribution. The majority of our sales are through the Viactiv Bone Health Chew. Those are sold through traditional retailers as well as online retailers like Walmart.com, Amazon.com. And having that established distribution is going to be important in growing the business. Prior to Viactiv, the distribution was primarily direct-to-consumer. And while we see that as a great opportunity to continue to drive the business, to open up new channels for the Viactiv products, there's no doubt that having traditional retail distribution and established distribution within online retailers will just give us that many more outlets and that many more customers to sell to. The main product that we sell today is the Viactiv Bone Health Chew, which does a great job of combining strong efficacy of a product with a good tasting product as well, which encourages compliance and just builds up the consumer awareness that you want. We think that gives us the ability to do a lot more from an organic growth standpoint. And so, not only do we have those products today, but when you look at the opportunities to gain additional commercialization with products that have not been successful in the marketplace, and thinking about how can we make adjustments to make them more successful, or thinking about taking our innovation and bringing out in terms of new products, feel great about that organic growth platform. And that's really where we're focused over the next few quarters. When we talk about the organic growth, I think there's 4 opportunities that we'll be most focused on, primarily around Viactiv. It's going to be continuing to increase the distribution within both, primarily on the traditional retail side. While Walmart and Target are 2 of our largest customers, there are a number of retail outlets where that product is not sold, and so we'll be looking to gain additional distribution. We think that there's opportunities to run marketing tests to see where we could increase marketing spend. Currently, the brand has traditionally spent about 15% of revenues on terms of marketing. We think that there's opportunities to do more if some of those tests are successful, and so that's something that we'll be looking at doing. We'll be looking at how can we utilize e-commerce in a bigger way, And then lastly, looking at opportunities to bring out new products. So those are 4 exciting opportunities to increase growth within the Viactiv product line that we have, as well as some of the products that are not within Viactiv that we think that there's opportunities to grow. And then the last thing I would talk about on this page is proven capable leadership team that we're building out. I gave you a little bit of my background. Craig Sheehan joined as our Chief Commercial Officer, individual with 20 years of Church and Dwight experience, primarily on the marketing side, but a little bit in R&D. Ran the Viactiv brand before coming over to our company. We have a number of other team members, which I've given the fact that we're limited today. You can go to our website and see the other team members, as well as a board of directors, which very strong, especially for a company our size. Exactly who you would want to be looking at the company and help guide the growth of the company in conjunction with the management team. From a financial highlights perspective, the company really, with the acquisition of Viactiv, really started to gain traction from a financial standpoint. And that closed on June 1st, the Viactiv acquisition did. So when you look at the second quarter Q, there was only 1 month of Viactiv sales. It contributed $1.2 million during that month, but that was significant. It was 86% of our sales, just that 1 month of Viactiv. So the Q that we're getting ready to put out will have 3 months of Viactiv in it, and you'll start to get a better feel for what the company looks like with Viactiv in terms of just understanding the contributions or the relative size of Viactiv. Last year, it produced a little less than $12 million of revenue with $1.2 million of operating income. So definitely a good acquisition to bring into the company. A great opportunity to build organic growth off of that acquisition. And from a balance sheet standpoint, I mentioned $12.5 million of cash on the balance sheet at the end of the second quarter. And you can expect us to probably, at least the very near term, consume approximately $2 million of cash per quarter as we start to, one, not have transaction costs, in addition, start to grow the Viactiv brand. As we look at the priorities, going into the finishing up the year, there are 5 things I'm really trying to spend my time as well as the team's time on. One is brand strategy. So excited about the Viactiv brand and what it means in terms of consumer awareness. We think there's opportunities to expand that beyond bone health, and currently doing some work to understand how broad of an umbrella can that be and how would other products fit within the brand. Secondly, products. I think the core Viactiv product gave us an idea of all the things that you need in order to be successful. I'd like to see the Viactiv product be a little more clinical, which is something that we can pull from some of the other products that we have. But we definitely understand what a successful product looks like, and we're currently doing work to understand what needs to be done to products in order to make them most successful within the company. And also, if a particular product cannot gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace, that's something that we want to understand as well. Number 3, sales channels. I talked a little bit about the sales channels where we compete. There's no doubt that maximizing the success of a product will entail it having access to as many distribution channels as possible. And so we're trying to definitely understand the sales channels that we're in and how can we get more products through those particular sales channels. Portfolio and business line evaluation. This is something that kind of talked to in terms of product strategy, but every time that we're investing, whether it's a business line, whether it's a product, we want to make sure that we have a path to gaining a competitive advantage if we don't have one today. And if that's not a situation where we can be successful, then we need to really consider where it's something that we need to be in. And so it's something that we're working with. And then lastly, scientific work. Number of things going on from an ocular standpoint that had been in process since the beginning of the year, as we started to get broader than just the ocular space, thinking about the scientific work that should be involved to support that, as well as some of the product development that could come out of the scientific work that we're doing. So those are 5 areas that we're spending the most time thinking through right now. In terms of what could that look like as far as actions through the end of 2022, we'll continue as some of these projects come to a conclusion or decision points. We'll definitely be communicating that to you. We'll be looking to also take the business unit product evaluation to completion, and we'll communicate that to the extent that it's relevant to everybody. We'll be looking to definitely look at new product development opportunities and launching products, and we'll be talking about that. You can expect us to continue to look at cost reduction activities as well as optimizing internal processes. You saw an example of this in a press release we put out a week or so ago about taking our ocular products, moving them to a 3PL, which gave us the ability to terminate our lease in San Diego where we had a warehouse. So those are the types of opportunities we'll continue to be smart about. We'll continue to ramp up our commercial activities and expansion of the existing business, as well as expansion of products across brands. We'll be looking to implement improved commercial systems. And then finally, we'll definitely be looking at acquisitions down the road. I don't think that acquisitions in their own right are something that you just do. I think that they are opportunities to get you into new areas. So over the short period of time, very focused on being able to take the Viactiv acquisition, build the organic growth engine that I referenced. And then once that is done, you think that you can create more value from acquisitions going down the road as you can bring them into the organic growth engine. So those are things that I think that, the priorities that we're looking at and how those priorities could turn into actions over the next year or so. So with that, we have a little bit of time, I think, left. Core IR and Scott Arnold is the individual who helps with investor relations. We'd love the opportunity to talk about the company in more detail. Again, appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today.
Bret, let me just ask you this. What was last night about, man?
So for those of you who may not be familiar, we definitely have seen a pickup in the demand for the stock, as well as the price has been good. And I don't have a direct answer to that. I would like to think that a lot of the work that we've been doing, talking to individuals who are interested in the story, I'd like to think that some of that's coming out in terms of increased demand for the stock and increased pricing. I don't know. To answer your question directly, though, I don't know exactly what has been driving the price and the demand, but it's nice to see.
I appreciate the honesty. That's a fair answer. You don't always know. Companies don't always know. The market is a strange place.
I do think, though, that we have a number of really exciting things going on. And I would like to think that as we continue to tell the story, continue to talk about what you can expect from us and things like that, I'd like to think that we'll get more and more people interested in the stock, and that's a good thing. I'd like to think that what we've seen, is somewhat of a reflection of that.
All right, Bret Scholtes, he's the CEO and president of Guardion Health, ticker GHSI. Bret, thanks for coming on today at the Benzinga Small Cap Conference.
I appreciate the opportunity. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.
Same to you.